All right. I think we're live on Facebook. I've never done one of these. So this is my very first attempt live streaming. Usually we do webinars for for folks, and I'm clicking as I'm talking. So I'm going to my Facebook page here. So I think you can ask questions, anybody who's watching. And we didn't really publicize this, so I don't know if anybody's going to even see it live because we just posted it to Facebook, and you know, Facebook people don't always see the Facebook page posts. But I want to thank you for watching, anybody who's watching this on the replay or live. And I'm thrilled to have my good friend and special guest Jason Silverman here with me. I've known Jason for, how long have I known you? How long have we known each other? Like, this is
300 years.
10, 300 years. Like, I can't remember. So I'm going to tell the story about how we met. And I don't remember how I found out about the program you had, but I do remember the very first time I met you live. So I owned a martial arts school, and Jason also martial arts school, and started a program called Powerful Words, which was in his school to help build character, because his wife, Dr. Robin Silverman, is a child psychologist, and she created great content that Jason could then present to his students to help them with life skills. And it took off. Other schools started using it. Really similar story to audit in a lot of ways, where audit was founded by an MSP to help his MSP. So, and then took off in the industry. So I started using it, and I think I met you live afterwards. And the funniest, I'll never forget the first time I met you live. It was at a trade show. We were in Vegas, I think. And I was looking for your booth. I want to say it was the first time you were at that trade show, because I joined Powerful Words when it was really early, when you first started it. And I kept texting you, like, where are you, I think, and you told me on the other side of the axis or something like that. And
Oh yeah, it was knife throwing for children. That booth.
that's right. I got to your booth, and all we heard was thwack, like from behind you. It was like their booth was behind you, and all you could hear was them throwing knives, literally, at
I
that
still
booth.
have PTSD from that. So yeah.
It was hilarious, because we were standing there, and you just hear, like, every few seconds, you hear thwack. It was loud, and you're
I
thinking,
paid
man,
two
if a
thousand
knife,
dollars for that thing too. So
right? Well, you should be in the MSP niche. You could be to be a booths are a little more expensive. The other vendors, any other vendor who watches this that finds out you paid $2,000 for a booth is gonna. And there's a big trade show.
well, I paid 2,000 for a booth 15 years ago,
Yeah,
behind
changed a little.
a knife throwing exhibit. So I guess it's the pricing is all relative.
Right. So your video now, I don't know if, and because it's a Facebook Live, it may be choppy. So I don't know if I'm freezing on you. You're freezing on me a little bit, but your audio is fine. So that's pretty much what matters most. So Jason, I want to jump in because and I'm going to continue to tell the story because you evolved in so many ways. This program was in the martial arts niche, and you launched it in other niches, in cheer, gymnastics, kind of you're broadened into the after school activity market, and you ended up you now have like high level mastermind groups. You're doing a lot of stuff. So fill in anything I missed, because you have to introduce yourself to folks.
Gosh, I mean, you've got a pretty good scope of it. The reality is that, we started out doing the thing. We still do the thing. And what we realized was that people were missing so much of the other component. They were missing so much of what makes a successful business. Because let's face it, right? Like, success leaves clues. There's not all that much that you need to know how to do, but you actually do have to do it. So, we started obviously with Powerful Words, and then morphed into some technology stuff as far as websites and that kind of stuff. But where it really started moving the needle was helping people to develop and maintain the business they always hoped they would have. So teaching them strategic business systems mixed in with their tactical business. move the needle, not just for me, but also for my clients. So
Wow.
that's where I spend a good amount of my time right now. And what's interesting is I've had a couple of phone calls recently where like, well, gosh, you must not be busy right now. I'm like, man, I am busier than a one-arm paper hanger. I was on 11 hours of phone calls yesterday with people, both my clients and people who aren't my clients, um, because right now people are terrified. People are terrified, and my biggest message: weather the storm, and those who do are going to have opportunities like they've never imagined before.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's my responsibility to help folks in our industries to get through this. And listen, it's a scary time for everybody right now.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's we're doing, I'm trying to do the same thing here. I've shifted my focus away from really any marketing, for new business into how do I help my clients, because I'm doing the same thing, here the people are frozen, man. Like people are actually just frozen. Like, and I think it's a little bit of that fight or flight syndrome, right? That frog brain that activates and stops us from thinking clearly. It's so crazy right now. I don't know if you're
There
experiencing
is.
that
I
as
mean, and you know, we all have a choice right now. You can bury your head in the sand and say, gosh, I'm just going to wait till this whole thing passes and hopefully I'm still alive, which is the wrong way to
well.
go. Or to take full and complete advantage of the time we have, to really build our business, to build the systems within our business, to not get rid of what works, but rather implement what works even harder, because people will still have the same problems they had before coronavirus. They just will, right? And if you're a problem solver, which I know you are, you get the opportunity to really help people and have them take, let people hobble along, which, I've heard just horrific advice from so many people. Well,
Mm.
we're going to cut this. You can't save yourself into success right now. You just can't. Really, really can't. It's about turning those rev streams on. It's about continuing to solve the problems that your business solves, whether it's during this plague or not.
Amen. Yeah, you've always been really good at, and I've watched you over the years. You're always out there on social media. You're always doing virtual events. You're always creating content for your clients to help them and your community. So I can imagine it's just pretty much business as usual for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's business as usual on steroids, right?
Mm.
Because, I've shifted a lot of things. I believe that, if we are part of a movement that's going to help, we should do that. If you have a platform, you should use it. Um, I've offered a couple different resources to the industries I serve, and quite honestly, and I shared this with you, and instead of charging them a premium price, which all of the services really are, because I know what the value is. I swapped it for asking them to make a donation to one of our local hospitals so that they can buy masks and the PPE that they need.
That's
So,
great.
and what's interesting is, as of this morning, I mean, over $1,000 in donations have already rolled in since 11:30 last night. Um, my hope is that we raise at least $10,000 to $20,000 for this, because that's going to buy however many thousands of masks and gowns and whatever else they need in hospitals. Um, that's still a win for me. And quite honestly, there's skin in the game on these clients' side. So I believe if we can create this win-win-win and get them moving, then we all win.
It's amazing. And it's amazing that you're doing that. that's a cool, you're giving back. You're not selling your service, but you're basically giving back to the community through helping to educate your community. I mean, that's perfect. Um, what's happening and talk a little bit about how this is actually impacting martial arts schools and cheer and gymnastics as a whole, because the IT industry is different, and I brought you on, and I'm bringing on other guests from other industries. With my aim is really to show some perspective that's broader. I think sometimes there's a lot of folks talking about what's happening in our space, in the IT space, but there's a lot we can learn from other spaces, really any space that is a recurring revenue model, right? So I can imagine.
Like my entire universe is that, MRR, right? To use your lingo, what has happened since, coronavirus has reared its horrific, just the reality. Um, you know, the gyms, the clubs, the academies, they're one of the first things that had to get shut down because they're large groups of people, right? So, those who looked in the mirror and said, I have a decision. I can adapt or I can die. All right. There's some who are like, well, I'm just going to wait for a government handout. I'm going to wait for that white knight to show up. I don't believe that's the case. I think you got to save yourself here. And the smart ones immediately pivoted. We all know that I'm dating myself here, but remember that Friends episode with pivot, 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 right, in the hallway with that couch. This is what the smart ones immediately did. They looked at their model and said, we can't offer on live classes because
Right.
we're mandated that we have to shut down. However, can we make a switch to online? My high-level mastermind group, I have a group called the System Success Mastermind Group, and they were all online within 3 days. I mean, 3 days they were running Zoom calls, they were running like live classes, they were running like most of my people will do a bedtime story every night for their members. Right? So 7:30, whether it's story time with Sensei or whatever it is, they're doing that, and they're now, interestingly enough, impacting the lives of their members even more often.
Yeah.
Even more completely, even more comprehensively, in a different way than they did live. Now, will this whole online thing work forever? Sure won't, because that isn't what people originally signed up for.
Right.
But as a band-aid in the short term, it may be that they get an additional 1 month, 2 months, 3 months worth of tuition so that they're able to have a school or a business to come back to when this nightmare is over.
That's awesome. And are they're doing virtual classes on Zoom and things like that? I mean, they're not just complete.
No, they're what they've absolutely done is and the system we developed for our members is they've gone through and they've got curriculum, because one of the things I have my folks do is they understand that their classes or their lesson plans are their deliverable, right? That's their client fulfillment. Broken down into chunks. So therefore they can turn the camera on and teach a chunk. And the cool part is if my kid goes to your gym, instead of coming to class, which is obviously better than watching a video, however, my kid can now watch that class over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And you know what? As a parent with a 9 and 11-year-old at home, I want them to have something to do over and over and over. This is tough for everybody. So I believe that my clients are really not just fulfilling the need for physical fitness, but it could just be a time saver. It could be, some of my folks are doing a midday stretching class for me. Right? It could be a cardio program, a strength training program, a conditioning program, flexibility, whatever. They're really thinking outside of the box and saying, well, we can't actually say, hey, who here has a balance beam at home? Well, we don't. You know what? Do you maybe have a roll of painter's tape and you could put a line on the floor? Well, there's your balance beam for now. Like, how do we shift and do this differently temporarily? Okay. Again, it's all in the mindset of we're fixing it for now so that you're better when you come back later.
Mm, love it. So I was going to ask you, what are you coaching um, your clients to do to retain their members? And it sounds like, I think you kind of answered or at least started to answer that. Do you have more dive into that a little deeper? What you're,
Yeah,
a little bit more about the conversations.
it's about engagement and connection. So, those Zoom calls are so fantastic because now the kids are so excited to see their coach, their instructor, their superhero, right? I do the same thing with my clients themselves. We're like, how much more can I get out there? How much more can I over deliver right now? Phone calls. I mean, I've been doing phone calls up until like 2 o'clock in the morning some nights because that's what people need. And you know what? If they need it, I'm there for them. And I truly believe that the companies that are bending over backwards, doing what they normally wouldn't do under normal circumstances, are going to be the ones who sweep the field. I think that this for their clients. So my number one coaching message right now is give 700%, give 1,000%. Just keep give. And you know what? This thing will, the depression, we got through the housing bubble, we got through 9/11. We'll get through this too.
Right. So, do you think that businesses should be marketing? And marketing can mean a lot of things. Marketing can be transformed into educating, right? But do you think people should be going out and getting, maybe not looking for new business right now, because I think it's in bad taste for anybody to do certain things, right? But what do you think?
I think that anybody who's not doing some form of marketing right now is going to have a massive problem later, right? Because we've proven the model, right? For every month that you're not marketing, it takes 3 months to build your momentum back up. Right. So right now, everybody is at home online. Everybody. Clicks are cheaper because everybody has the mindset of, oh, well, nobody's marketing right now. I shouldn't market either. No one's going to buy anything. Sometimes your marketing, your advertising about showing your current clients that you're not going anywhere. You want your clients to be like, he's marketing for new people. He must know something we don't know.
Mm.
Right? Now, do I think you should be gouging people? Listen, I am going out, I'll wind up with somewhere between 40 and 100 people on that program I'm doing this coming week for the gymnastics space. Right? Now, I am teaching a program. It's a program I would have normally charged $997 for. Some people have made like a $50 donation. I think that's awesome because it helps me achieve a goal. And quite honestly, if I get sick, that's the hospital I'm going to. So, selfishly, that's in there. But is that marketing? You bet your sweet ass it is. Really is. Because at the end of the day, these people now know. They've seen what I do. They see how I can help them. We're going to get through this. And who else who didn't offer them anything? The people who charged them something during this time? Like I charged them, but it didn't go to me.
Right.
I'm positioned differently financially than most of these people are.
Now, we'll talk about that. Charging them. Do you think IT providers or anybody should this is away for free or cutting their what they charge their clients? And I think everybody's going to be asking to a certain extent for some help at some point. But do you think IT providers or anybody should really be going out there and slashing prices type thing, or giving it away?
I look at that like I wouldn't go out of my way to ask people, hey, can I have you pay less right now? Because number one, you don't know their circumstance. Number two, they haven't asked you for that. So why grab the closest fork and jam it in your own eye?
Right.
right? And I mean, I've seen people do that, like, hey, we're doing this, hey, we're doing that, hey, we're doing the next thing. Well, nobody asked you for that yet, right? Is there something you can do if you want to have a blanket policy of something like, hey, listen, for the next 3 months, we're going to cut rates 20%, 10%, something that the aggregate of it is a big impact on you and may save them a little bit. I've seen that. I don't necessarily believe that it has to be go out there and let me give you all my stuff for free.
Right.
Like I'm still charging my clients,
Yeah. And as you should be, right? I mean,
but I'm also working probably 3 times as hard as I ever have.
right. What you're doing is you're also creating new things to give that are helpful now, right? Like, so things that address a problem now, which is what I'm seeing you do. And you're giving, you're not giving, you're not giving away the farm, but you are giving. So I think there's a line, right? Like, and IT professionals, right, are different because they're considered essential, and your niche is not considered essential right now. So it's also a little hard for businesses to just cut IT services, right? Like, businesses can't one day decide, we don't need any workstations anymore. We don't need that backup and disaster recovery or cybersecurity. In fact, businesses need to be able to have the right tech in order to work at home. So some of our MSP partners are finding that they're more busy now than they ever have been. So, we're seeing the industry affected, of course. It's not at the same level as many others. I mean, they're actually, I think, in a really good position right now.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that, what would you be advising them to do, or advising me to advise them to do?
So if I were in your shoes as a thought leader to the industry, I think one of the first things I would say is find out what they need, right? Like, do we know what industry as a whole needs? Because there's nothing worse than providing the solution that nobody wants, right? Hey, I'm going to give you this. I don't want that. Like if you came and said, hey, Jason, I've got a great deal on scuba gear, that would mean nothing to me
Right.
because I don't scuba dive, right? If you told me something else like that I was interested in, it would be great. So the first step is always, what exactly is it that they want? What do they need right now? How can you be of service to them? I would also find out, what their goals are right now. Like, listen, hey, right now we're focused 100% on helping people build home offices that can support their business. All right, well, how can we help you do that? Can we shift our own marketing? Can we shift our own product line to relay that message? Hey, we focus on this. One of my clients last night, this is at midnight, she pinged me and she was like, listen, we're going to be focusing on summer camp right now, hardcore, because I can't sell anything else. So I called my designers and I was like, listen, instead of getting me the regular ads for April, can you get me some summer camp ads? And I need copy and I need some funnels and I need some other stuff. Can you get that done for me? I don't know, by Monday. Sure, no problem. So it's being able to shift on a dime. The other thing I would say is you have to tell them to protect their mindset. If you are all doom and gloom, your clients will read into that and they will cut you like a bad habit.
Right.
So now on the other front, I wouldn't come off like, everything is awesome. Like, I mean, because it's not. It's really not.
Right.
But you can be a realist and be like, hey, listen, we're going to get through this. Yeah, this sucks right now. We're going to get through this and I'm going to help you. I'm going to be behind you every step of the way. Tell me what I can do to help you now. And then shut your mouth and listen and then do what they need you to do to help them.
That's great advice. I love that. You put it in a great way. I've been one of the things I've been telling MSPs as I've been talking to them, and I do want to make sure, as you're watching this, invite any MSPs who want to chat, even if it's just to have another person to talk to. I don't care what you want to talk about. I'll jump on a call, a Zoom. Been telling them call your clients, set up reviews, and asking them, that's a great time. What you said is, what do they want? Find out what it is they want, what it is they need, what they need help with. And then you understand the solution that you should be providing now. Love that. So what do you, you talked a little bit about this in the beginning, that you said that there's going to be huge opportunities, coming up, right? Like let's kind of end this on a, want to end this on a high. What do you think the world looks like after we come out of this? And I don't know when it's going to be, next week, the week after. It's going to be soon. We're going to get back to work soon. What do you think the world is going to look like? What problems, what opportunities?
I think this is kind of going to be viewed as a reset, Mike. I think people are going to look at how they work. I think they're going to look at what's important for those who have people who got sick or passed away, God forbid. They're going to look at things differently. Their priorities will be different. So if that's the case, is our messaging going to be different to our clients? I sure hope so.
Right.
Can we help them? I think also, what you do with audit is so cool, in that you've got an opportunity to help somebody build their business for the future, right? I think that if people understand, you know what, a month ago, I didn't believe this could happen. I didn't. I'll be 100%. I never believed that anything like this could happen. But now I believe it, right? And I believe that this is not the last thing. Let's say this was just a warm up for the big event.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
it's crazy to think about, but you're absolutely right.
I'm not saying to go out and build a bunker and go put up 50 cal guns on the turrets and everything, but I don't hate the idea. But the reality here is, I think people are going to, the smart people are going to set their businesses up differently, so that, hey, when this goes out, like, let's face it, right? When Katrina happened and then Sandy happened, right? What do we all do? Everyone went out and got generators.
Yeah.
Right? Of course, since I got my generator, we haven't lost power, but whatever. But I'll take that as an insurance policy, right? But I believe the same mindset is going to apply to this. What are people doing with their businesses if they now know we actually need X amount of clients to be able to sustain, because we may lose a percentage. So we need to make that top number bigger. Right? How do we do that? We're going to use a tool like you provide that makes it easier for them to get people in the door. That's the most important thing. Most people don't have an effective lead conversion system. I mean, you're handing it to them on a silver platter, right? So obviously they still have to deliver the work, but I believe 80% of the game is converting that lead. So when you already have a tool like that, I think going forward, people are going to leverage the tools they have and the tools that work. I think the smart people will leverage other smart people. Okay. I think they will go out of their way to make sure that they surround themselves with people who are A, positive, but B, getting it done. Just getting it done. So that's what I think this whole, do I know when? Nope. I sure hope it's soon. I really hope it's soon, because I know that, as I'm telling even my clients now, whatever target we're aiming at today will be different in 2 to 3 weeks. So this is not the time to be like, okay, I've set my system, now I'm done. No, we're going to shoot, and then we're going to analyze our shot, and then we're going to adjust. This is no different for your people. Where are we? Understand what's happening right this second. What do I need to do? Do it. And then again, where are we right now? What do we need to do? That is going to be a never-ending process right this second. Now, as far as opportunity, to answer the original question, these are allergies, by the way. I'm not going to infect anybody.
We're social distancing anyway. That's all.
We're social distancing through Zoom. The opportunities, here's what's going to happen. Those who don't take action right now are going to go the way of the dodo. So expect a ton more business to be available to those who do. So if you're watching this right now, you're making a decision. You're about to make a very important decision. What action are you going to take to ensure that you're the one sweeping the field versus being the one who gets swept away. Okay. Like fight or flight. For up to me, I always go with fight.
Yep. What choice do we have, right?
Well, I mean, we do have a choice. We can crawl into a casket, cross our arms, and lay down.
Right.
All right. And listen, I had a very um, well, crawl in your casket, put the key in the lock, and move along with your life.
Right.
That's your choice. And if that's right for you, so be it. It's not right for me. And I hope it's not right for you.
Awesome. Well, Jason, that was awesome, man. Thank you for joining me.
My pleasure.
Very cool. And you're still doing your podcast, right? The Real Deal
I
with
am.
Jason Silverman.
Yeah, the real
Yeah.
deal with Jason Silverman. I would say for anybody at home right now, though, um, if you're home with kids, do yourself a favor. Go check out How to Talk to Kids About Anything podcast. My wife runs that. It's one of the top parenting podcasts on the web right now, and it's truly just amazing. She releases a new episode every Tuesday morning, and man, like podcast.
Cool.
It's so relevant. It's so amazing. It's so timely, especially right now where I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to that. I'm going to go implement whatever I just learned on that call. Um, and it's been great. Stuff I think is fantastic for your mindset for business. And that's the Real Deal with Jason Silverman podcast. Um, but again, for relevancy right now, if you're at home with some kiddos, and again, whether they're preschool, school age, or teens, or they came back to live in your basement as 30-year-olds, whatever, there's something for you on that podcast.
That's so cool. Love it. Jason, thank you again. And
Hey, thanks for the opportunity to share some goodness. Listen, folks, I hope you get out there and make a difference for your clients. And at the end of this, let's all, grab a virtual beer and be glad it's over.
right on, man. Have a great day, Jason, and have a great day, everybody who was watching.